All right, let's dive into this article you shared about Sakura and Hanami.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've always been so fascinated by how different cultures, view and experience nature,
Right.
and Japan's reverence for cherry blossoms is just something else. I mean, it's so unique.
Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? And it goes so much deeper than just admiring pretty flowers.
Absolutely.
This deep dive, I think, is really going to be a fun one to kind of uncover um, how intertwined the natural world is with Japanese culture.
Right, exactly. I think our mission today is to really get beyond just the aesthetics of the cherry blossoms,
Uh-huh.
to really try to understand the cultural significance. I
Great.
mean, just reading through this article, Sakura and Hanami, celebrating the beauty of cherry blossoms in Japan,
Right.
one thing that really kind of jumped out at me was this whole concept of mono no aware.
Yeah.
It sounds so poetic and a little melancholy.
Yeah, Mono is it's really central, I think, to understanding the Japanese appreciation for the sakura.
Let's
It's
see.
um it's kind of a complex idea, but you can think of it as a sort of a bittersweet awareness of the fleeting nature of things.
Okay.
It's about finding beauty in impermanence
Mm.
and realizing that because things don't last, they become even more precious.
Wow, so it's like it's not just enjoying the blossoms, but it's also reflecting on that bigger picture
Yeah,
of life and change and
precisely.
wow.
And cherry blossoms, with their incredibly short blooming period, just a week or two,
Right.
they're like the perfect embodiment of mono, not aware. I
Yeah.
think their beauty is intensified by the knowledge that it won't last.
It makes you wonder if all of those elaborate Hanami celebrations, the picnics and festivals, if that's almost a way to hold on to that beauty for just a little bit longer.
I I think there's definitely an element of that.
Yeah.
Hanami is about celebrating the blossoms, yes, but it's also about acknowledging their transience,
Mm.
and perhaps even finding solace in that shared experience of beauty fading.
Yeah, it's like everyone is coming together to say we're all in this cycle of life and change together.
Yeah.
Okay, so mono no aware kind of sets the stage here.
hmm
But I'm curious about the historical side of things. Like, when did this love affair with cherry blossoms actually begin in Japan?
Well, we know that cherry blossoms have been celebrated in Japan for over 1,000 years.
Wow.
So imagine during the Nara period, which was from 710 to 794, sakura was already a prominent motif in poetry and art, especially among the aristocracy.
1,000 years. That's incredible.
Yeah.
What events in Japanese history do you think might have shaped how sakura was viewed and eventually turned into the hanami that we know today?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The Nara period, with its strong imperial court,
Right.
likely played a role in elevating sakura to a symbol of elegance and refinement.
Okay.
But as we move into the Heian period, from 794 to 1185, we see Hanami kind of taking shape
Okay.
with, the imperial court holding these elaborate feasts beneath the blossoming trees.
Oh.
It's interesting to think about how those early exclusive gatherings evolved into the inclusive tradition we see today.
It's almost like hanami democratized over time.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of which,
Uh-huh.
paint me a picture of what a modern day Hanami celebration actually looks like.
Okay.
What would I see if I were lucky enough to experience this in Japan?
Okay, imagine this.
Mhm.
Parks and gardens transformed into these vibrant, bustling spaces, and people from all walks of life.
Wow.
Families, friends, coworkers, even tourists,
Wow.
all gathering under a canopy of pink and white blossoms.
That's
They'll
beautiful.
spread out their blue tarps, unpack these meticulously prepared bento boxes.
Oh, I love bento box.
Share food, drinks, laughter, conversation.
It sounds so lively.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some might say that modern Hanami has become almost too commercialized
Right.
and that maybe it's losing some of its traditional meaning.
Uh-huh.
How do you see that balance between tradition and these modern trends?
Well, I think that's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's true that you'll find plenty of Hanami-themed merchandise and special events these days,
Right.
but I don't think that necessarily detracts from the core experience.
Mhm. Yeah.
The heart of Hanami is still about appreciating nature's ephemeral beauty and sharing that experience with others.
Right.
Whether you're enjoying a simple picnic with friends or attending a lively festival with thousands of people, that essence remains.
I love that. Even with all the modern additions, the heart of the tradition is still beating strong.
Yeah.
And speaking of different ways to experience Hanami, I understand there's a difference between daytime and evening celebrations.
Oh, you're referring to Haru Hanami and Yozakura.
Yes.
Yeah, so during the day, it's all about the vibrancy of the blossoms against the bright blue sky.
Right.
But when dusk falls and the lanterns are lit for Yozakura, the atmosphere becomes almost magical.
Really?
The blossoms take on this ethereal glow, and there's a sense of hushed reverence in the air.
Wow, that must be so powerful. Do you think the darkness somehow enhances the mono, no aware feeling?
I absolutely think so, yeah.
Yeah.
The interplay of light and shadow,
Yeah.
the soft glow of the lanterns against the delicate blossoms, it creates this sense of otherworldliness
Mm-hmm.
that I think really underscores the fleeting nature of beauty.
Okay.
Yozakura allows for a deeper, more contemplative kind of Hanami experience.
It makes you realize that Hanami is not just a visual feast.
Right.
It engages all the senses.
Yeah.
Okay, now I can't resist asking you to take us on a virtual tour of some of those famous Hanami spots.
Okay.
Where should we start our journey?
Well, let's start with one of the most iconic Hanami locations, I think.
Okay.
Ueno Park in Tokyo.
Okay.
Picture this. Over 1,000 cherry trees bursting into bloom, right in the heart of this bustling capital city.
I've seen pictures of Ueno Park in full bloom, and it is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
What's the energy like there during Hanami?
Oh, it's electric. You have this incredible mix of locals and tourists. Everyone coming together to enjoy the spectacle of the blossoms.
Yeah.
You'll see people picnicking under the trees, strolling along the pathways, taking boat rides on the park's pond, and just soaking up that vibrant atmosphere.
I can almost hear the laughter and the chatter.
Yeah.
Ueno Park sounds like the place to experience that social energy of Hanami.
Right.
But what about those who prefer a more contemplative experience?
Yeah. If tranquility is what you're after,
Right.
then Maruyama Park in Kyoto is a must visit.
Okay.
It's a beautiful park with traditional tea houses, serene ponds, and of course those magnificent cherry trees.
Kyoto is known for its elegance and refinement.
Right.
What makes Maruyama Park stand out, even among all the other Hanami spots in the city?
Well, the centerpiece of Maruyama Park is its iconic weeping cherry tree.
Oh, wow.
Imagine a cascade of delicate pink blossoms, like a waterfall of petals.
Yeah.
Reflected in the still waters of the pond.
Yeah.
It's a truly mesmerizing sight.
I'm getting goosebumps just picturing it.
Yeah.
The weeping cherry tree sounds like a perfect symbol of that mono no aware concept we were talking about earlier.
You're right. It really embodies that bittersweet beauty.
Yeah.
The ephemeral nature of life and nature.
Right.
And as you wander through the park, you'll likely encounter people, writing haiku poems inspired by the cherry blossoms.
Oh, haiku! Those short 3-line poems feel so perfectly suited to capturing the essence of Sakura and Hanami.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
It's amazing how a few carefully chosen words can evoke such powerful emotions and imagery.
Right.
Much like the cherry blossoms themselves.
Speaking of powerful imagery, I understand there's a particular Hanami spot that kind of combines history and natural beauty.
Himeji Castle.
The Himeji Castle is it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Wow.
A stunning example of Japanese castle architecture. Okay.
Now imagine that majestic white castle framed by a sea of pink cherry blossoms.
Wow.
It's truly breathtaking and the photographer's dream.
Okay, I'm officially adding Himeji Castle to my Hanami bucket list.
Okay.
But before we wrap up our virtual tour, we have to talk about Mount Yoshino.
Okay.
30,000 cherry trees. That number just boggles my mind.
It's almost impossible to comprehend, isn't it?
Yeah.
During Hanami season, the entire mountainside is awash in a sea of pink and white blossoms,
Wow.
creating this spectacle of color that stretches as far as the eye can see.
It sounds like something out of a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Okay, this virtual tour has been amazing.
Good.
Now let's dive a little deeper into the cultural side of things. We
Yeah.
talked about mono no aware,
Right.
but are there other Japanese art forms or philosophies that are closely tied to the appreciation of Sakura?
Absolutely. Mono no aware permeates many aspects of Japanese culture,
Yeah.
but when it comes to Sakura, I think it's worth mentioning the art of ikebana.
Okay, ikebana is Japanese flower arrangement, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's not just about arranging flowers aesthetically.
Right.
Ikebana is deeply rooted in Buddhist principles.
Okay.
and it emphasizes harmony, balance, and the appreciation of natural beauty.
So there's a philosophical element to it,
Yes.
similar to Mono no Aware.
Very much so, yeah.
Okay.
Ikebana arrangements often feature cherry blossoms,
Right.
and they're designed to evoke a sense of transience,
Okay.
the beauty of the fleeting moment.
Right.
It's about capturing the essence of sakura in a way that goes beyond just the visual.
It's like translating Mono no Aware into a visual language.
Yeah.
And speaking of translations, I'm curious about the word hanami itself.
What?
Does it hold any deeper meaning beyond simply flower viewing?
Well, the literal translation is indeed flower viewing.
Okay.
But I think Hanami encompasses so much more than that, you know?
Yeah.
It's about the communal experience of appreciating nature's beauty.
Right.
It's about sharing food, laughter, and conversation under the cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
It's about slowing down and savoring the present moment.
It sounds like hanami is almost a ritual, a way for people to connect with each other and with nature in a meaningful way.
I think that's a really perceptive observation.
Thank you.
Hanami is deeply rooted in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And it reflects values that go beyond the celebration itself.
Okay.
Community harmony, respect for nature,
Right.
and it's also a reminder of the cyclical nature of life.
Yeah.
The constant interplay of birth, growth, decay, and renewal.
It makes you wonder if hanami serves a sort of social purpose beyond just being a fun celebration.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I think Hanami does foster a sense of community and shared experience that might be unique to Japanese culture.
Right.
You know, it's not just about individual enjoyment. It's about experiencing something beautiful and fleeting together,
Right.
reinforcing those social bonds.
Okay, so we've talked about the visual beauty of hanami,
Right?
the philosophical and cultural connections, but what about the taste buds?
Yeah.
I understand that food plays a big role in these celebrations.
Oh, absolutely. Hanami wouldn't be complete without delicious food and drink.
Welcome back to our deep dive into sakura and hanami.
Yeah.
We've explored the beauty, the history, the philosophy.
Right.
Now it's time to indulge our taste buds.
Yes.
What are some of the must-try foods and drinks for a true hanami experience?
Well, get ready for a culinary adventure because Hanami is all about enjoying seasonal delights.
Okay.
And the food is just as much a part of the celebration as the blossoms themselves.
Right.
One treat you absolutely have to try is dango.
I was reading about those in the article you sent.
Yeah.
Dango, it sounds so delightful.
They're these little chewy rice dumplings,
Yep.
often skewered on a stick and glazed with these different sweet sauces and toppings.
Wow.
They're colorful, playful, and absolutely delicious.
It's like the edible embodiment of the hanami spirit, right?
Yes, exactly.
Playful, beautiful, and meant to be enjoyed with friends.
Yes.
You love it.
And if you're looking for a more savory option, Hanami bento boxes are a feast for both the eyes and the stomach.
Oh, I love bento boxes.
These beautifully arranged boxes are packed with an assortment of bite-sized delicacies, sushi, tempura, grilled meats, seasonal vegetables, and more.
I'm picturing those bento boxes spread out on a picnic blanket.
Yeah.
Under the cherry blossoms, it sounds like the perfect hanami meal.
Absolutely.
And what about drinks? What are people sipping on during these celebrations?
Well, you can't talk about Hanami without mentioning sake.
Oh, of course.
It's a traditional Japanese rice wine, often enjoyed warm or cold,
Okay.
and it just feels right to sip it under the blossoms.
Sake under the sakura, that sounds like the ultimate in springtime vibes.
Yeah.
Are there any non-alcoholic options that are popular for hanami?
Absolutely. Green tea is always a classic choice.
Okay.
And you'll also find people enjoying amazake, which is a sweet, slightly fermented rice drink that can be served warm or cold.
Wow.
It's actually considered to be quite a healthy drink, full of vitamins and probiotics.
So there's something for everyone at the hanami feast.
Yeah.
It's interesting how food and drink seem to play such an integral role in these celebrations.
I think it goes back to that idea of communal experience.
Yeah.
Sharing food is a way of connecting with others, creating a sense of togetherness.
Right.
And during Hanami, that communal spirit is amplified.
It's like food becomes a language of its own,
Yeah.
a way to express shared joy and appreciation for the beauty that surrounds you.
Right.
You know, as we've been talking about all these different aspects of hanami,
Wow.
from mono no aware to yosakura to the delicious food.
Right.
I'm struck by how this tradition seems to go beyond just a celebration. It
Yeah.
feels almost like a cultural touchstone.
I completely agree. Hanami is deeply woven into the fabric of Japanese society.
Yeah.
It's a time for reflection, for connecting with nature, for strengthening social
And
bonds.
perhaps it's also a way for people to make sense of the world around them,
Right.
to acknowledge the cycles of life and change that are so beautifully reflected in the cherry blossoms.
I think you've hit the nail on the head.
Heck.
The cherry blossoms, with their breathtaking beauty and their fleeting existence,
Right.
serve as a powerful reminder of the impermanence of all things.
Yeah.
And Hanami, in its own way, is a way of embracing that impermanence, of
Oh.
finding joy and meaning in the present moment.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey of discovery. We've learned so much about Sakura and Hanami,
Yeah.
and I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for the beauty and depth of these traditions.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
Absolutely.
What stands out to you most from all that we've discussed?
I think for me, it's the reminder that beauty can be found in the most unexpected places,
Yeah.
and that even the most fleeting moments can hold profound meaning.
Yeah.
It makes me want to seek out those moments of wonder and appreciation in my own life,
Yeah.
even if they're as simple as noticing the cherry blossoms blooming in my neighborhood.
That's a beautiful takeaway.
Thank you.
And as the cherry blossoms bloom this spring, I encourage you to embrace the spirit of Hanami.
Okay.
Whether you're fortunate enough to experience it in Japan or simply by taking a moment to appreciate the beauty of nature wherever you are.
That's perfect advice.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Sakura and Hanami.
Thank you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep seeking out those moments of wonder that make life so beautiful.